Goes, okay, we're live. Go.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to another video. I'm your host, Chris Hampton of wolfclanmedia.org. I'm here with a very special guest, William Ramsey of William Ramsey Investigates. And today we're going to talk about Johnny Depp, among many other things. And with that, let me just see. How are you doing, William? Are you there?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Chris. It's great to be with you again.
Yeah, it's great to be with you. And a lot of listeners here will know who you are. We last spoke, I think it was last year for the 20th anniversary of 9/11, actually. And we spoke about your book. But for those who don't know, will you just give a brief background, and especially pertaining to today's conversation?
Yeah, I kind of got interested in talking about the occult and writing about the occult in 2010. So that was the first book. If people are watching this on YouTube, they can see your website, wolfclanmedia.org, and you can see excellent interviews with some other guys, Hall as well, and the pseudo pandemic with Eon Davis, I think. But people need to check that out. Anyway, I got started looking into the occult back then. Maybe people weren't talking about maybe occult influences on culture and events as much. So I was like, hey, there's some stuff here. So that led to my first book. That was Prophet of Evil, and talks a lot about Aleister Crowley. And then led me to my second book, which was, I was actually writing what turned out to be my third book, which is Children of the Beast. But as I was doing that in 2012, I came across a clip of somebody in a courtroom, and it was Damien Echols being talked to by the prosecutor. I believe his name was Price, and Aleister Crowley popped up. So it was really fresh in my mind, this whole Aleister Crowley research that I had done. I said, and I was researching Children of the Beast, which was Aleister Crowley's influence upon politics and culture. So I was like, well, what's this story about? And I had remembered seeing a documentary called Paradise Lost back in the 90s. And so this was a clip from that. But now that Crowley was fresh in my mind, I started researching that. And it had just happened. I think it was August 2011 was when the West Memphis Three got out of jail, supposedly on a technicality. I thought it was a technicality. I figured they just got out because there was something wrong with the original case, which didn't turn out to be the situation once I started reading it. And so I really started looking into the West Memphis Three. Fortunately, all the documents were available on a website called Callahan AK. So that led to my second book, which is Abomination. And that kind of ties in with what you wanted me to talk about. It's the tie-in between Depp, who's all over the news right now, Echols, and Aleister Crowley. And there is really a strong tie. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know all these characters. The weird thing about the West Memphis Three is they're surrounded by all of these celebrity or considered celebrity supporters. They had immense amounts of support to get to the point where they got out of jail in August 2011. Peter Jackson, who did The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings films, was a supporter. Johnny Depp, Marilyn Manson, Margaret Cho, Dixie Chicks was weird. Like, why are they involved in this? Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam, Henry Rollins. So all of these figures, why are they supporting publicly saying that this guy was, found guilty of a crime he didn't commit? So it's very curious as to why. And I didn't really know these characters very well. I didn't know the background of some of them. Well, once you start researching the background, you see that their ideological outlook, is a way to put it, is very, I think, consistent with the way that Damien Echols' outlook is. And when you really do the research, if you're an honest researcher, you can even just look at what he's done since he's gotten out of jail in 2011. Tons of occult. So he just put out another book about the occult within the last year, I think. Yeah. And he talks about angel magic. And you can look at his social media. He's very open about it. He's teaching magic, like magic with a K, right?
Yeah.
And so if you want, and once I started looking through his social media after he got out, it just was references to Crowley and a lot of really kind of esoteric knowledge that I thought was not very commonly known, stuff that I had learned while studying Crowley. Like, he knew stuff about Marjorie Cameron, who was Jack Parsons' Scarlet Woman, which, I think that esoterica wasn't as commonly known maybe as it is now through podcasts. Like, there's a research community knows about this stuff, but Echols knew about it too. So, which comes very true, yeah. And Echols said in court, and you can see this video out there. They asked him, "Do you know anything about the occult?" He says, "I know everything about the occult." When he was 18, Like he was basically saying he was an encyclopedia about the occult at a very early age. And it was interesting too, the video that I was mentioning that kind of got me interested in really looking at the West Memphis 3 case. There's a copy of Crowley's Magic and Theory and Practice on the desk. There's a photocopy. So you can see that visual reference in the documentary. So it's pretty remarkable as somebody who has really, I mean, I know a lot about Crowley. Some people have called me a foremost scholar of Crowley.
Yeah. I actually refer to you as one of Crowley's autobiographers. I mean, because there is an autobiographer, and you've got like Kenneth Copeland and, but these people are going to, put Crowley up on a pedestal, and we kind of need the other side of that.
Michael Sarian, Tobias Churton, some of these other people who talk about Crowley, maybe some of these other names. But yeah, I'm definitely a critic. Like I call it Prophet of Evil because I believe Crowley's evil. So I think I'm making a moral judgment right there in the title. And I've been pretty, in my earlier interviews, which you can see on my podcast, almost all of them are on Christian channels. Like I've never changed my statement of faith or outlook. So I was doing very underground, small interviews 10 years ago. And you can see all those. I think I've recorded that. We've talked about that before about the other one, Most Dangerous Book in the World, which is in my opinion, the satanic version of the 9/11 story. So if people think that they're promoting that, they need to go back and go through kind of a brutal, in my opinion, reevaluation of why.
Yeah, there's a whole spiritual side to the truth movement and that's definitely part of it. I've made that point in my last documentary. And just that clip that you were referencing, is that from the documentary Paradise Lost?
I believe so. Yeah, it was either an outtake or in one of them. It turned out to be a trilogy, right?
Right.
So Paradise Lost 1, 2, and 3.
So explain for people that don't know, because for me, I actually watched all 3 of those films and I fell right into it. And it wasn't until stumbling upon some of your work and going back and noticing that they mentioned Crowley in the film and kind of brushed it off. And then it was what really struck me was seeing the book you just mentioned, High Magic, put out by Damien Echols. And this guy was on death row for a horrible thing. And you can dive into it if you want there. But I basically was fooled by all 3 of those films, all 3 of them.
Well, I mean, I thought I looked at through the media lens that was put out. So when I heard they got out, I just said, oh, there must be something wrong with the case. I didn't even think about it. So I didn't really know. I was able to get the insights by prior researchers who looked into it. And like, there was a very small community. A super majority of people, like, these guys were innocent. It was railroaded. It was fundamentalist Christians in a Southern hillbilly KKK jury judge who railroaded. That was the cover story. But if you look at the evidence and how it rolled out, in my opinion, the real story is a much more complex and much more difficult thing. But yeah, the 3 documentaries, it's very hard to believe that HBO would greenlight 3 documentaries. I thought the first documentary was actually kind of obvious. Like, it was straightforward, but the second and third were very, in my opinion, very deceptive. These are all my opinions. But the second one made John Mark Byers, the stepfather, the guilty one. And there's literally Baldwin and Eccles are saying, you could go back and watch this because it's this time stamped. In fact, which they say, I'm 100% certain John Mark Byers is the one who did it. Yeah. Right. So that's the second one. The third one, they changed it. They changed it. Yeah. They changed it. And that should tell, for somebody with a critically thinking brain. Yes. That should say a lot to you, is why then they both kind of, I don't know who it is, but there's this one guy whose DNA is found at the scene. Well, it's not ever conclusively proved it's his DNA.
Yeah, I was very skeptical. I watched the third one and I go, what's going on here? And then I started questioning things, prior experience, like, a lot of videos that get this high production. You wonder, well, why? What's the motive behind that, like you said, why would HBO come out and do this 3 times? And then you see him getting released and out with Johnny Depp and getting matching tattoos and doing satanic hand symbols. And then you think back to the first film, like you said, and you start remembering, there was obvious. They pointed out all the Aleister Crowley stuff in his bedroom. And they actually talked about that for like 5 or 10 minutes. And
I think that what that video was is after Echols was his real name is Michael Hutchison. After Damien Echols was arrested, he was in jail, kind of writing in a secret alphabet. He was scribbling and making kind of like the English lettering to a magical lettering. And in that, it said Aleister Crowley in English, and then in this magical lettering, Jason Baldwin. So they're asking him about it. So I think the prosecutor says, do you know a guy by the name of, in a kind of Southern drawl, do you know a guy by the name of Aleister Crowley? Or he doesn't even pronounce it right, but you can tell he's trying to get at something. And the fact that Echols is into alternative theology is one way to put it. So
and we don't know how that was edited either. I mean, who knows how much else was said that wasn't included.
Excellent point. There's probably outtakes of all those films, which might be very telling. And it actually kind of ties in because Berlinger's all over Netflix now. He's all over. He made this movie that made Ted Bundy look kind of like an underground hero, and it was called, I forgot, Forever Evil or Undeniably Evil or something like that. And apparently my sources keep telling me that Netflix was really angry with him for making that movie. They considered it a huge mistake.
Interesting.
But so Berlinger's all around, and it actually ties into another case of this guy. I mean, we can go, Berlinger's a whole nother story, but this other guy, Stephen Donziger, who was an attorney, the judge said without the outtakes of the documentary that Berlinger made about Donziger, he never would have understood the totality of what was happening in the case. So it was those outtakes that influenced this attorney who's been disbarred now and I think was under house arrest for a while.
Right.
For a huge case. It was a huge multi-billion-dollar so-called settlement out of South America. But that's a whole nother story. But it involved Berlinger. So Berlinger's been all around. He did a documentary on Whitey Bulger. He's done all kinds of shows. But it's interesting. I do think that a lot of the reason they do a trilogy, even just in this instance or in Hollywood, is it's just you make money.
Yeah.
A documentary is
the
very
first
cheap.
one did so well. Why not do two more? Right. But like you said, they totally just twisted it. It went from one thing to another, and then the next movie to another. It's like the budget kept getting bigger, and what really gets me is, like you said, now we're looking at Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp in this televised trial that has been going on for weeks that just won't get off of my YouTube feed for the life of me. It's
my social media feed. It's all over my social media, Twitter, YouTube.
Right.
Facebook.
And now I'm starting to see, this thug life memes of Johnny Depp and how Johnny Depp reacts and even Joe Rogan's podcast going off about how he's had to put up with this horrible, evil woman and she's so evil. And it just made me, I just want to talk about, Johnny Depp and who he really is. I mean, Hunter Thompson, I think you have a clip on your YouTube where he's being interviewed and he's asked to explain to the uninitiated who Hunter Thompson is, right?
Right. So there's a lot. So that's really, Hunter Thompson has a very sketchy background. He was mentioned in the Franklin scandal. Can't remember the author, but he was in the Colorado riots, but he was a pretty dark character. And there's kind of like an infamous clip of him acting really strange all the time, actually pretty damn strange, but with David Letterman. And, so he's made some weird statements. He wrote in one of his articles about Satanists, abducting people and things like that. That was in one of his. And Hunter Thompson was always involved in the darker stuff, right? Gonzo journalism. But he had friends in Hollywood, and one of those early friends was Depp. And when Thompson supposedly killed himself or died, his ashes Depp spent $1 million to blow his ashes into the sky, Hunter S. Thompson's ashes into the sky. And so that's kind of like the beginning of kind of Depp's strangeness. He was there at the night that River Phoenix died at the Viper Room from an overdose. And I think that it was, according to my understanding, River Phoenix had 5 times the amount of the dose that would be lethal of both opium or opiates and meth. So he had a very hot dose. So that's very suspicious about his death, about how he died. Nobody would want to take that high of a dose. They wouldn't even get high. It would just become poison. Wow. So he was there. Depp's business manager's missing. I can't remember his name right now. But that kind of folds into, and if you look at the arc of Depp's career, it's a line of occult Hollywood. And there's very strange. So he is working with
what's Tim, the film? Ninth Gate.
So Ninth Gate's one, but Edward Scissorhand is Tim Burton, right? And there's pictures of Burton with really a Crowley henchman, one of the arch occultist of all time of the modern era, which is Kenneth Anger. So Tim
Mm.
Burton, Depp is really not like more than 2 degrees of separation from some very dark characters. Anger, you can trace Anger through Kinsey, Rolling Stones, Zeppelin, Manson, through Bobby Boozley, incredible stuff, and all the way to Burton to Depp.
This
And
is
so you can
Kenneth Anger.
correct.
He has the tattoo Lucifer on his chest, right?
Correct. He does. No, that's very interesting. There's actually he has 2 tattoos. He has 2 additional tattoos on his arms. He considers himself a warlock, but this is very important because one of them is Crowley's Mark of the Beast. It's a specific design made by Crowley, which encapsulates all of the astrological signs into one tattoo. And so Crowley marked that Mark of the Beast on the chest of his Scarlet Women. He branded it into their chest. So he had a hot brand like you would brand a cow. He did that to his Scarlet Women. Crowley did. So, but Anger has that exact same a tattoo on one of his arms and then on Anger's other arm. And you can see this in, I think it's Invocation for My Demon Brother, which is Anger's book. His other one is another one that is a circle with a sigil in the middle of it. And on the outer ring is the Theban alphabet. That design is the exact same design that Echols has, that he has shared with, and Depp has that same occult design tattoo on his chest. So I think he got it through
those weird looking magic letters, right?
Right. So the Theban alphabet. So back in ancient Greece, the Thebans was like the era of magic. So it's always kind of been known in classical history as this. Ancient Greece was broke up in like city states. And the Thebes was this one where they had their special alphabet. It's a simple translation between English and Theban alphabet. So all you have to, it's just like what Eccles was doing when he got caught writing about Crowley after he was arrested in 1993 or 94. So, but this is interesting because it ties through. So Depp to Burton to Anger to the design, and then all these guys have it. And I can pull all this stuff up. Like I have all of Depp's.
And again, we're talking about Damien Echols, a person who wasn't famous. He was a kid who basically, I mean, it was a satanic ritual murder that they committed on a young child in the woods, right?
Well, the only people who really know what happened there was somebody that was there, but we know that it was extremely graphic, that one of the kids bled out after his genitals were removed. And that 2 were tied in a very strange way from their wrists to their ankles, like a hog tie, like almost an alternate hog tie, and then drowned.
Yeah.
So they're drowned in water. It's kind of like a strange, and this ties into the really end of the end. It's something that goes out in the deep occult, which I can't figure out is why they drowned the sacrifice victims. But at the very end of Lucifer Rising in Anger's book, Anger's movie, he takes these human statuettes and drowns them in water. You can watch this. End of Lucifer Rising. Then the aliens show up, or the demons show up. That's a whole nother show. I've talked to Charles Upton whether aliens or demons, but Upton says that the exact same experience that people have with what we call aliens are go back to demonology. They're almost the same thing.
Oh yeah, we could have a whole
There's trickery. People who experience it are terrified.
I've even heard from the MUFON whistleblowers the calling out to Jesus to be able to stop an abduction. And actually from my own research, when because I had some sleep paralysis problems that have kind of started to go away now, but for a while I had really horrible sleep paralysis, and I was looking into that, and I found a spiritual website that said same thing, calling out to Jesus to stop sleep paralysis, and those testimonies were pretty convincing. So it's very interesting how all that ties in ufology and religious, but I kind of am very careful with it because we have things like the History Channel, and Ancient Aliens, who love to just tell you everything you read in the Bible was UFOs, and then you have vice versa on the other side. So I'm always kind of, oh, there we go. That's the so they have 2 matching tattoos.
So that style, right? They have. So that's one. So that's the Theban. I'm going to try to see if I can find Anger's tattoo that's exactly like this. It's in my research. But so that's Depp with the one on his right chest, Eccles left chest, and then they went and got matching tattoos from the I Ching. And this guy's a famous tattoo artist. I forgot he has like a Irish last name. I can't remember his name. He was actually in. I was like, hey, that's the guy who tattooed Echols and Depp together, because I saw him on a video with
He looks familiar.
Lana Del Rey called West Coast. Have you ever seen the movie?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep.
So it's a song West Coast, which is actually filmed very close to where I live.
Yeah, Lana Del Rey. Yep.
Lana Del Rey. But this guy's in the video, so he's tattooed a lot of celebrities. I wish I could remember his name.
I knew because I saw that photo recently, and I knew I'd seen his face somewhere. But what is that symbol? Do you know what that symbol is there?
It's something called spirit over air, and somebody likened it to like the idea of Lord of the Air, where they call in the Bible it calls Satan like the Lord of the Air. That's what Awaz means, is the Lord of the Air. So somebody said that
Depp has Crowley right underneath that.
It might. This is when Echols just got out, so he's not as tattooed as he is today.
Yeah, and today he has those letters on him, and like in the photograph I saw, he had that high magic book you spoke about, spelling magic with the CK, just like Crowley, right. And it said how the magic saved him on death row, which made me just like what he used magic to get away with ritual murder.
It's pretty fascinating, because I think Echols has said, like, usually when you win a court case, you say the law and the courts were on my side. Like, I had the law on my side. I wasn't worried about going to court. That's what some people say. What does Echols say when he got out? It was, I got out due to magic.
Yeah, magic.
So and he didn't say he had the facts and the law on his side. He said, I got out for magic. So that's
interesting.
Yeah. So these are those two.
The law, I mean, that probably could have been a reference to Crowley anyway. Right. I mean, Crowley's a lot of people don't, that's what really bothers me about people who even do look into Crowley. They don't actually understand that Crowley wasn't just, a Satanist who, did it for fun. He absolutely wanted all of this to be implemented into policy. And we've talked about how that did happen with, the witches
and politics, policy and politics.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Somebody sent me this. This was Damien Echols defending Depp. And Echols says, zero about this situation. Absolutely nothing. If you don't like what I have to say about something I've witnessed for years, then well.
Oh, wow. So he's
commenting right, this exact same case.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And that was my point to reaching out to you, is like, people need to remember who Johnny Depp is before they try to defend the guy in this trial, which is probably just a mass distraction for something else anyway. Right.
There could be all kinds of stuff. Like, I have this one that
you've been watching,
but we didn't even talk about Ninth Gate. I've done a full Ninth Gate analysis with Sean McCann.
Oh, have you?
So so people can check that out on YouTube, or they can just listen to it. But it's super dark. I mean,
that film confused me. I didn't understand one bit of that film when I first saw it.
It takes a while to figure it out, but it's like a tracing board of occultism. And he's on a satanic journey. The character, Corso, who Depp plays, is really on a satanic journey to satanic supremacy, really, or something. So he gets to walk through the Ninth Gate. The Ninth Gate is like some kind of the highest level of satanic consciousness or something. But the very end, if you remember,
he sets himself on fire or something.
He's working for this guy Boris Balkan, right? Which is a 5 and a 6, right? So they have like the 11s and all that stuff. But Corso has this demonic kind of creature who's following him around all the time. This woman who appears at weird places. And Lucifer, for Satanists, is also female too. That's kind of the trick.
Yeah.
But at the very end, they have intercourse, and it's a direct, in my opinion, from what I can tell, it's a direct play out of Crowley's the Scarlet Woman and the Beast conjoined ritual, which is like a reenact. So Crowley was the Beast, and then the Scarlet Woman and they're engaged in a kind of a magical practice.
Yeah.
It goes back to sex magic, but basically he's not to get too graphic, but Depp is being ridden by the Scarlet Woman, therefore he's the Beast. It's symbolically played out. So you can just go, you can go online and watch and then he walks into the Ninth Gate. So it's the completion of the film.
I wonder how that plays into the trial with Amber Heard. That's kind of interesting.
I mean, I bet there's more. I
Scarlet
mean,
Woman. Do
there's
you know
probably.
about the CBS television show about Parsons called Strange Angel?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't watched it.
they reference that ritual that you just spoke of, and a lot of
Oh, is
sex
that right?
magic in that show, actually, a lot.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, it's written. You can actually type in the Scarlet Woman and the Beast Conjoined. I think that's the name of what Crowley wrote it. So you can just go read his ritual. You can just
Yeah.
go read it.
Yeah, it's
I
dark.
think it's in Magic and Theory and Practice. So
Yeah.
which ties back into what was on the desk of the prosecutor at the West Memphis 3 trial. And one of the things that's very strange about this is when I wrote my book in 2012, nobody talked about the occult elements. Like they're so overt because Echols was like being visited by this demon spirit, Rosie, who licked his hand and took him on night journeys, like on a horse. And like, they're off the charts.
Wow.
What he's writing about. He's writing about I'm the end of the world. I'm going to be the beast. I mean,
Wow. And so
yeah,
you dive into that in your book. What's your book?
absolutely, yeah, it's all there. Abomination, yeah, so.
Devil Worship and Deception in the West Memphis 3 murders, right?
Yeah.
And there's some occult. I mean, right there, the West Memphis. That's ancient Egypt, right? So there's probably so many occult things in that whole case.
Well, in Memphis, they have the huge pyramid right on the side of the Mississippi, and the guy who built that pyramid is an occultist. So there's weird elements about that. Even the topography of that whole place.
Johnny Depp. I mean, like you said, we could go on for days about. I mean, hands, hand over the eye, all the symbols. He does them all.
I have a file on him. I'll bring it up. Let's see. I'll go back. I mean, you can just go through. I mean, there's just so many of his things. So he was Grindelwald too, if you remember.
Yeah,
like he was Grindelwald. So he's the arch enemy, the evil enemy in Harry Potter. Here he is.
He's also credited with adrenochrome, like him and Hunter Thompson, because it was the first time it was mentioned, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
So here he's doing the kind of eye in the triangle hand gesture. This guy has tons of hand gestures all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere. I wish the cover of Remember From Hell, dude. Depp has done almost every occult film you can imagine. From Hell, Ninth Gate.
Oh, From Hell, man! I saw that before I studied the occult. I'd have to rewatch that now. I saw that back when I was younger. That's a creepy, weird. Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, it gets really dark. I mean, I'll tell you some stuff offline that you are truly unbelievable. But Dark Shadows, Transcendence.
That's right.
And this one was Dark Shadows was put out on May 11th, so it has that number of magic. These are all very important. Transcendence, I think, was out on the 11th. Oh no,
Transcendence is very. That's the whole transhuman agenda, right? And
correct.
Very weird uploading consciousness and stuff like that.
Right, the techno god. He becomes kind of a techno god.
Oh, that's right. He's everywhere.
Here's where it gets really. This is sometimes they cannot be these things. These numbers and numerology cannot be by mistake, because Transcendence was a film that was done where Depp becomes kind of a god. He's brought up in this case because he's in that movie with Paul Bettany, who seems to be this guy brought up in this case, Heard and Depp, because Bettany was his friend or something. Transcendence. You want to guess the date that Transcendence came out?
May 11th.
No, April 18th. So it's 4/18, and you can bring up Crowley's tracing board or something like that. Crowley's, he had all these numbers that were based upon gematria, right? But Crowley's number for global transformation, geometric number, was 4/18. And then that movie. Yes, I'll pull it up. Let me see if I can find his tracing board. Yeah, so you'll see actually in his, I think it's folder. I'll find it.
Yeah, I don't remember the 4/18 reference at all.
I'll find it for you.
Yeah,
it's really esoteric. It's super, just like 175 in 9/11 is super esoteric. But once you kind of key in, it's who you adore.
That's where I really like you as a researcher, is the 175. I knew that there was occult significance. I felt it because I was digging in so deep, but nobody references it. It's
not believable.
The 11 is easy and the 93 is extremely obvious. right? And the 77 being a multiple of 11, but with 175 and Invocation, I mean, Google that. You're not going to get any results. You might get William Ramsey Investigates on the 10th Google page, but
All right. So Crowley meets this guy when he starts the AA. He was Captain JFC Fuller. He's one of only 2 Englishmen invited to Hitler's birthday. They
wow.
were friends and lifelong friends. They were in correspondence. Fuller never kind of gave up his occultism. It was very strange. But Fuller actually influenced kind of German military policy, tank battles and stuff like that, land war. So he wrote this with Crowley. This is about Crowley, Star in the West. And you can see this is the layman, right? The circle. And you see the A and Alpha and Omega. So that's the beginning and end. So it's kind of like a biblical play, right? But
Wow.
Alpha and Omega is referenced in relation to Jesus Christ. The VVV is also referenced in V for Victory. It's the triple V's. I can't remember what he says.
You know, the V's are also a Templar, the Knights Templar symbol.
Oh, wow.
Also goes back to, you know, the ancient Templars, those V's as well.
I can't remember what the character. Yeah, I can't remember what the character in V for Vendetta says, but VVV is brought up in there. It's Latin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He brings it up right when he meets Natalie Portman's character. He takes her and cooks that egg for her, but he mentions this whole, I forgot what it was. I can't remember. But here's the 666418. So he's got the number of the beast and then the number for global illumination, which ties into your statement that Crowley wanted to really influence policy. And then you see the flower on the cross, right? The upside down cross. So it's all there. You can read this book. It's
that upside down cross is incorporated in the Ninth Gate Johnny Depp film, as a matter of fact, isn't it? It's yeah. And also, yeah, the gate, the T in the gate is an upside down cross. And I think that kind of looks like the sword that Crowley's holding in that photograph that you have in your books.
Right. It's a ritual. It can be used in a ritual, right? So the rituals have a sword, a chalice. They're they're standard kind of items that you have.
Right.
But yeah, Depp. Yeah, all of Depp's stuff is totally occult, man.
Yeah, totally, like you said, it's almost like his whole movie career has been some kind of weird occult stepping ladder.
Right. And what was the other one? The Sleepy Hollow is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you just go through and look at them all.
Wow.
What was the one? There's one where he's holding, I put it up on my website where he's holding his chest. Oh, it's Dark Secret.
Yeah, Dark Secrets.
Is it Dark Secrets?
Or is that an animated one?
Dark.
No,
but dark. Yeah, it was.
But you're right, man. I never really realized how dark almost all of his movies really are. They've all got some
dark shadows. Dark shadows.
That's the one.
Okay, so people who say that these guys are not exposing occult ideas to you, this is the poster for the movie. This is a poster for Dark Shadows. So that's Depp making the hand sign, the hand gesture for I'm initiated.
Yeah.
He's telling the people that he's initiated, but the people who aren't initiated, they don't know what he's saying. And Crowley himself said Satan is the Lord of initiation. That was like one of his famous kind of statements is like, I'm telling you, Awas is Lucifer, the Lord of initiation, the one who makes gods out of men. These are all like Luciferian principles. So he's saying this right here.
Would you say that Crowley believed in Christianity then? He did believe in it?
I think that he believed that Christianity was true. He was just an enemy of it all the way to the end. Yeah, I think that he just said he went to the other side.
And
actually, there's a kind of a famous statement that I put in Prophet of Evil where he said, I have no problems with any of their assertion. I can't remember it verbatim. I don't have any problem with their assertions. I just went to this route. So he doesn't discount. Although, if you look at the world's tragedy, which is Crowley's kind of play that attacks Christ and Christianity, there was the most brutal stuff. Like
that's why Christ. That's why I asked, because he's
a product of a rape. Like there's the old story that Mary wasn't a virgin birth, that she was raped by a Roman soldier. So he includes that in there in the world's tragedy. Pretty bad stuff. There's another theme of child sacrifice in the world's tragedy.
And that's the whole thing here. You know, Johnny Depp is a supporter of that. I mean, in 2010, I remember the headlines. You know, there was there was a Telegraph headline, Johnny Depp supports men convicted of satanic ritual murder. I mean, those headlines were all over 2010, 2011, I think.
Wow.
Right. So
let me see it. I can see. So Crowley in magical garb. So remember that hand gesture. So watch this. You can just see Crowley doing it. So this is Crowley making. This is the horns of Pan, right?
right.
Let's see if I can get him. This is it. See that same hand gesture?
Yep. Just like the
It's
Dark
same one.
Shadows.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So he's doing the same thing. Go back.
Just like the Dark Shadows poster there.
Right.
Yep.
So he's in with the cross theme.
And there's that sword.
There's the sword. There's the wand, sword, book. I think that's a chalice. Book of the Law.
And I gotta say, man, just because he kind of looks like Damien Echols. I mean, Damien Echols almost looks like he could be a. Oh wow, that one. That's a pretty high resolution. I haven't seen that one that high.
Yeah, it really is. So this is the magical star with the Eye of Horus in there. He's making the sign of silence with the same kind of cross motif with the flower. I can't think that the thing, it goes back to Rosicrucianism, where
the rosy cross, right?
The rose is on the dead cross. So the rose is giving life on the dead cross. That's what it's like an anti-Christian thing. Yeah, this is a really good resolution. I keep discovering stuff about Crowley. Like I have to go back through because, there's just more people researching and more books and other things like that. Like,
yeah, like you can see right there.
I haven't even seen this.
There's so many people still support this and like support Thelema. Like I even heard recently one of the people in the research community, talking about real Thelemites and fake Thelemites. And it's like, what do you say to that? Like, because you obviously, about Rosicrucianism, about, the Hermeticism and are you, I know a lot of people just say it's all Satanism, but obviously you realize that there are different areas of the occult. What do you say to that?
It's a good question. I think what's odd and what I've learned is that even these groups, they all kind of lead up to Satanism. So sometimes there's introductions, and even Crowley said, join whatever community you want. So they're almost porch initiations into higher levels. So if you get up on the top of some of these lower esoteric orders, they're going to bring you into even heavier stuff. Yeah. And the people at the very top are in the heaviest of stuff. So there's even groups. There's groups out there that I don't even want to talk about. Like you think you know everything.
Yeah.
There's some very heavy groups that. Order of Nine Angles is very heavy, at least what their writings are. But there's other groups too. So, but I do
9 Angles.
Yeah, the Order of Nine Angles.
And so that ties in quickly because you brought up kind of not knowing about the water thing and kind of still kind of figuring all that out. And that ties into the whole global death cult, which you have another book about, right? So does that ties into the whole case a little bit there, like you said about the drowning in water. And
there's something mysterious with anger, these deaths of the West Memphis Three, of the smiley face killers, the possible occult thing, the smiley face itself. Which pops up in these cases. That's how it got its name. I didn't come up with that name.
Yeah,
it came up from Gannon and Gilbertson who found this. So I don't know all their research, but why is it there? Why is it in Alan Moore from Hell? I mean, you can see it overlapping. So something really remarkable is happening in the world, and it's never happened because we didn't have communications and travel like we do now. Something really remarkable is happening. The 418 that human beings have never seen, where they,
I say that because I kind of feel that too. A lot of, like you said, the internet and media, travel and everything. But yeah, it's almost like we're living.
They're cross-fertilizing each other, cross-pollinating each other, and even a lot of Christians too. You can have global Christians; people can finish their sentences because they all know the Gospels. Well, I think these occultists, they can communicate and.
Oh yeah.
Connect.
And I just saw a new Church of Satan being celebrated in Scottsdale, Arizona, on the news, and it's almost like what you remind me of is a statement made by Hoffman in one of his books about bestializing society. He uses that word a lot, bestializing, and it's like, wow, it's so profound.
And it's really happening. Like he also makes the statement that we're being initiated, whether we like it or not. And when I talked to Hoffman, he said, there's something to be very careful about, because just learning about this stuff, you're kind of going along with it. Like,
Yeah, he told me
I
that
think
too.
yeah, okay, yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he told me that
Which
too.
also,
But he also kind of he didn't like a couple of things in my film, but I think his big thing was he kind of discredited us for saying that Crowley invented Thelema because there was an abbey of Thelema in the early 1500s in Italy, which goes back to, Rome. But really, we were talking about how it was popularized in the Western society. Nobody in the Western society knew what Thelema was before Crowley came along.
no, I don't think so. I think you could win that argument. The thing is it goes back to French. What was it? Gargantua and Pantagruel. There was an abbey of Theleme there, but that was in a play, so it was kind of, it had that ne se voudras, which was then adopted by the monks of Medmenham, known as the Hellfire Club,
Yeah.
and then Crowley integrated that in too. But
Good point.
they didn't have it codified in a religion like Crowley. There's no evidence of any
throwing up the
no way. They were
will shirts.
So that the idea has probably been around. Even the concept of really doing what you will. Like I've said this in other talks. Like it probably was always a philosophical position in human endeavors, and it's always a matter. There's always been an easy dichotomy between doing God's will and doing your own will. So it's like that's why in the Lord's Prayer is so important. It's really a distillation of so many themes, but Crowley took that idea from, I can't remember the French dramatist right now. He wrote but he took that from the Hellfire Club and then expanded upon and put all these rituals in there, integrated all the stuff he learned from Eliphas Levi. So Hoffman, I respectfully disagree with him.
Yeah, I respect Hoffman, but he's a very complex guy, and those books. Like you said, we're living through something different now. So and things are totally different. Like, so you just to see how obvious things can be, like with Echols and Johnny Depp, it's so obvious using magic to get off the death row, and he's got all these tattoos. They've got these matching tattoos. This dude's whole career is basically been an occult film production, and then
no doubt.
It's right in your face. And
here's how profound it is. They took his life after death, they took it and inverted into making them kind of superstars. Like watch this. This is incredible. This is how profound you can get with mind control and social engineering. These guys, I won't play the audio, but they're just clapping and farting around as they walk in. Let me see if I can turn off my audio.
This is the book meeting, 2010, right? When he shows up. Yeah, Damien's book, and Johnny Depp comes to support him.
Yeah, let me see if I can get this audio working. I have to turn off my earbuds. Let's see. Internal speakers, default.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play it.
Okay.
You can see how incredible this is. Like, and it's very hard to kind of move against this.
How are you doing? Hey, Tom.
So good evening, everyone. As you can see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome formally to Barnes & Noble Union Square. We are privileged and humbled to have Damien Echols with us this evening. Life after death. This book is an extraordinary and powerful reckoning of his life before, during, and after his unspeakable 20 years on death row.
See that?
Yeah.
Like,
praise the Satan.
Privileged and humbled. Privileged and humbled.
Wow.
There, yeah.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I fully believe that he's guilty. I probably
well, he's guilty. I mean, that's a legal terminology. He's definitely guilty. He's been found guilty. He's strangely been found guilty twice, because he was found guilty in '94 and then pled guilty in writing and signed on the line that is dotted in August of 2011. Wow. So he's definitely guilty. He's guilty at law.
Yeah.
Whether he did it, maybe you can argue about it or whatever. But in court, going to look at the court case is so important because they had people in court saying that he said he did it at the softball.
Yeah.
Game. There was a
That's your
softball
book
game.
there?
He said, I did it. I'm going to kill 2 more. And so the jury looked at that and said, why would you say that about something so horrible? I mean, I don't think he's well. His psych record is 500 pages long. That's why they call it Exhibit 500, which
Wow.
is it's I mean, it's not funny, but it's not short. It's not like 4 or 5 pages. The guy has 500 pages of documents from 3 different psych wards. So people leave that out too. I forgot what was in this. I made these videos a long time ago. This is him and Depp again. Oh, they keep saying these weird things in this doc. In this, let me see if I can get the audio to work. Because he says like, "Stay faithful to the magic." He says all kinds of weird things in this, which
that's what convinced me that there was a cover-up going on when I started seeing all the Crowley references, the magic with the CK. I go,
listen, these are remarkable.
There's so much more to it.
Yeah, but they're saying like really occult stuff in a public environment in this. It's really something else. Let's see if I can get this to play.
Yeah, to the uninitiated, as you pointed out in that interview, like the uninitiated, and both of those two, the interviewer and Johnny Depp, were initiated. That's pretty disgusting to hear him talk about us like that.
No, but see, so he Echols knows this. He knows this stuff. Listen to this. This is incredible. I don't even know if this is public anymore.
How did you? I know that you found that you were on a quest while in prison in terms of yeah, basically the same quest that you've been on prior to being wrongfully accused and wrongfully convicted in terms of a spiritual quest. While inside for all those years, though it, on some level, it is very helpful in terms of your mental condition, your psyche to continue on. But really, how were you able to stay focused? How were you able to stay, like you said, and sit for 5 or 7 hours of meditation?
Really, what it comes down to is I didn't have a choice. On death row, for me, the main thing that drove me forward in my spiritual practice was pain. On death row, there's almost no medical care whatsoever. They're not going to spend a lot of time, money, and energy taking care of somebody that they plan on killing. So if you have something wrong with you, there's not much help for you in there. At one point, I had a lot of nerve damage in my teeth just from getting hit in the face so many times. At one point, I had a lot of nerve damage in my teeth just from getting hit in the face so many times. And, in prison, there were no caps, no crowns, no root canals, none of that sort of stuff. So I was in extreme pain. And the only choice they give you is either you live with the pain or you let them pull your teeth out. I didn't want to live without teeth, so I had to find some way to deal with the pain. And for me, that was meditation, that was energy work. I became extremely passionate and focused on things like Reiki, Qigong, quantum touch, and what I would do, I always approached it more as a science than religion. I don't really care about the religious aspect of it. What I care about is what works, why it works, how it works, and how do you make it work even better.
That's a very important kind of philosophical statement he makes there. Science and religion.
Oh yeah,
that's Crowley's kind of axiom.
Oh yeah.
Magic.
It's that new age mumbo jumbo as well, as usual.
Right. So that organization's motto of the AA was the method of science, aim of religion. So that Crowley, Echols just repeats those concepts right there.
Yeah.
And this is the cover of the Equinox, which we can unpack too. It's all the sword, cross on with the flower, method of science. So Echols is repeating this, I think, off of extemporaneously. He knows all that stuff very well.
Right.
I always approached it more as a science and religion, life in there, it was the only thing keeping me going. It was the only thing that was allowing me to deal with a lot of the pain that I was having. If I were out here and I could have went to a doctor or could have went to a dentist, I probably wouldn't have been nearly as dedicated to it as I was in there. But doing it, you learn so much more. It's almost impossible to even articulate. You learn things that seem like miracles that most people out here will never know it just because they won't have to delve that deeply into it. And I think eventually in my life, that's what I'd like to end up doing. After things die down a little bit, maybe, we live in a small town now, maybe have like a little meditation center where I could share some of the same things I learned in prison that helped me survive with other people who are in desperate situations.
Stay faithful to the magic.
Exactly.
Let's repeat. Let me repeat that
Stay
again.
faithful to the magic.
No, I repeated that twice in there.
Exactly.
He says it like a mentor.
Right. Stay faithful to the magic.
He
There's
literally says that like he's mentoring him. Like,
Yeah. Let's go back. Depp is on something. He's not acting normal to me.
Eventually, in my life,
oh, of course.
After things die down a little bit, maybe, we live in a small town now, maybe have like a little meditation center where I could share some of the same things I learned in prison that helped me survive with other people who are in desperate situations.
Stay faithful to the magic.
Exactly.
Stay faithful to the magic.
Exactly.
Wow. Stay faithful to the magic. That's nuts.
This is so old. I put this together like 2012. This is almost 10 years old.
Before you were out.
Yeah.
Last story.
For a A-list celebrity, does a great job putting together a sentence, just like in the trial.
What does he want? What's the first thing he wants to do or see or feel when he gets out after 18 years of this horror?
But that's one of the remarkable things about this case is these guys came out and log rolled for him. So they get for a crime you didn't commit, they have all wrongfully incarcerated. They've got all of their kind of talking points down. And so you can really learn a lot about PR and propaganda by studying the West Memphis 3, because like the case, the kind of information that was compiled is off the charts. I mean, all this stuff is done. And then, the one thing is important that everybody leaves out is that the whole case on appeal went to the Supreme Court of Arkansas and they affirmed everything at the lower case.
Yeah.
So a completely new set of eyes said, there's no problem here. Your conviction stands like there. And so all of that stuff that's supposedly lousy legal representation, no evidence, corrupt jury, all that stuff. They had those arguments, if I remember correctly, in the appeal.
It's a cover up. And that's what's obvious about it. That's what made it obvious is here he is making money off of teaching magic, all this new age, Reiki and energy healing, and basically how to get away with satanic ritual sacrifices. And you got, like you said, he got Johnny Depp and everyone rallying up with him. And that's what made it obvious for me, and the Crowley and all the influence that Crowley has, because the work you've done and that I've looked into, which I know a lot of people don't look into, but if they don't realize the influence that Crowley has had, probably more since he's been dead than when he was alive, right? I mean,
it's pretty remarkable. So all these occultists, they always end up with Crowley, whether they use something, criticize him, something. Every single one of the occultists that I've ever seen, they all knew about Crowley.
Very much in Hollywood. That's what I've noticed. Hollywood is obsessed with it. It seems to be, right. I mean, no matter where you look in Hollywood and the media and the entertainment industry, you find references to Crowley. That's what I've started to notice.
Let's watch the rest of it. I don't even remember what's with this video. I don't remember. It's been so long. So much research has taken place since then. I don't even know what I put together.
He just wanted to sit on the porch and watch the sun rise, set. He just wanted to see the sunset sitting on the porch, nothing around. I know that you had a lot of supporters, obviously. West Memphis 3.org around the globe, a lot of supporters, and a lot of celebrity supporters. Henry Rollins, certainly Eddie Vedder, Patti Smith, you know, a number of others, and what that's sort of one little category of a very complex story, but there were people who would come in with great sort of spiritual advisors or leaders, or he spoke about in the book, he was great piece about
Spiritual advisors?
the priest with the motorcycle, the goatee, and the bald head, and the master would come.
These people became like family to us over time. You know, even like Johnny. Johnny had become like a brother to me over the years. You know, even since I've gotten out.
I bet.
Well, look at him right now. He's sitting here. You know, this is certainly not advancing his career in any way.
Yeah, right. I'm sure it
Yeah.
didn't advance his career in any way.
Right. And it's like a brother to him, right?
Yeah.
And so there was another thing too, where there was some kind, they were trying to reopen the case, and Depp met Echols in Arkansas again. So this is them together. He's got his arm around Echols. Echols is now tatted up, right? So he's got full body tattoos. These are all,
Yeah, the symbols.
it's not the Theban alphabet, but it's the Enochian alphabet, right? So that's John
Oh, is
D.
it?
Yeah,
Oh, John
that's
D.
all.
Enochian magic. And you can see there's like a skull key there and all kinds of stuff. It's all up in his body.
Yeah, and that's his ex-wife or his wife behind him. I mean, there's just these are all a lot of stuff.
And that and to me, that's kind of why I wonder why the other two guys, the other two involved in the case, didn't become as famous as Echols. Maybe because they're not supporting so much magic. They're not, or, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I think it was it's interesting because all the celebrities always focused on Echols. They didn't. Yeah. They talked about the West Memphis 3, but they talked about Echols more. So this is an important picture for me because there's Depp, but that's Joe Berlinger. This is supposed to be the documentarian, but this is not objectivity. When the guy who's writing the so-called the trilogy of notes about the West Memphis 3 is hanging out with these guys.
Wow.
Yeah, this isn't objective at all. So that's
wow.
Berlinger, right. Yeah, they're all hanging. Berlinger's probably filming this. So this is another one. Berlinger might even be trying to sell this video or something, because here's Berlinger, and you can see there's a dude with so that's Berlinger kind of right behind Depp. Yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Remember, this was like 2014, and they just had another. I did a show with Roberta Glass because they just came up with another thing, like, oh, the evidence was lost. So they're like continuing this stuff where they've already pled guilty. They can't be in their guilty plea in 2011. They couldn't sue the state for anything, so they're threatening to sue, but they're not going to sue because they already signed basically a contract that said they can't sue. So anyway.
And that case,
all over this stuff. Yeah.
That case is totally, you know, like the stepfather passed away now and everything else. It's just another one of those covered up and got away with it things. And yeah,
it's a saga. It's a 25-year saga. This is another weird picture. This is Depp and Manson.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures of them together.
There's some. They're on stage like
Manson and Echols too. I saw them together as well.
Yeah, good point. I think he was at the Golden God Awards. He was introduced by Manson. So there's pictures of Manson with Echols. The other guy who can't remember is the guitar player for Jane's Addiction. What's his name? He did this other thing just like Depp did with Echols. The guy's name is It's he who was the guitarist who played for Jane's Addiction and the Red Hot Chili.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
Anybody out there is listening to this? Can you put that in the show notes? I can't remember his name. I did a whole. I don't know if you want to go through this, but I did. This is kind of repeats all this stuff, but it's the title of this. You can actually see this whole thing on YouTube, but this is titled "It Johnny Depp, Damien Echols, and the Devil."
Oh yeah, that's on your YouTube.
Yeah, so I think it's some of this, and this is him doing his hand signals.
sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
That's the interview there where he asks him about the uninitiated.
Let's go back.
Yeah, it's pretty telling. Yeah, the book
This is my rudimentary video.
And that's the thing too. It's almost like they're all
You know,
participating in magic.
Yeah,
the investigation was, let's get whatever we can define as the predator off the streets to calm this community down. And so it became a witch hunt, I think. And it was clear from the first second that I saw the Paradise Lost film, which is when I called Laurie. I just knew that this was a horrific lie.
How can you be absolutely sure that these three men are innocent?
If there was the tiniest sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Oh yeah, it's a different interview. Yeah, but that's as soon as he saw the film, he called Laurie, and he just knew he had to run to Damien Echols' side and be his brother. Yeah.
Are you in some movie playing like a male prostitute or a female or something? Weird.
Yeah.
There's another one I can't figure out. It's some kind of
amazing man in Johnny's life, Hunter S. Thompson. Johnny became friends with Thompson before he filmed Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It was a friendship that endured for years. Let's talk about Hunter Thompson.
There it is.
And your friendship with him.
Hunter and I, it was when I was researching Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I was living in his basement, and I happened upon this box as we were looking through the manuscript of Fear and Loathing.
Wow.
So explain to the uninitiated who Hunter Thompson was.
He was, without question, I think the most important non-fiction writer of the 20th century.
Hunter S. Thompson, who was the author of The Rum Diary and the author of many great books, including Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, for me, one of the great heroes. For me,
has been called the most accurate and least factual reporter working today. His latest book right here is entitled Generation of Swine, Tales of Shame and Degradation in the 80s. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Hunter Thompson. Hi, Hunter. Nice to see you. How you doing? Come on over. Thank you very much for being here. How you been?
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah. Where do you make your home these days?
The same place I've been making it for the last 20 years.
20 years? Where is that?
Woody Creek. I invited you out there the last time you were filming.
Yeah. And you were born in that area?
No, I'm from Kentucky.
Kentucky originally.
Where are you from?
Indiana originally, yeah. And what is your life like there? In Colorado, you said?
Peaceful.
You're up in the mountains?
8,000 feet.
Yeah. And what kind of a day do you have? So pick any day, for example. Do you get up early and write and stuff, or what?
Yeah, I write early in the morning. I work all day long.
Yeah.
And then I cut the grass, I chop wood.
Mm-hmm.
And
What do you do for recreation there?
Yeah, that's what I do for recreation. I work.
You ever hike up into the mountains?
Oh yeah, I do that for. I like to kill.
And when you say kill, you're talking about what? Neighbors? What?
We don't want to talk about shooting people.
No, but you're teasing when you say you like to kill, right?
Gosh.
Yeah. No, I'm not teasing. I used to like to kill. When I realized that I was hunting in order to kill.
You like hunting?
I quit. Well, I did. I quit.
Yeah. But I know that when you
But I quit because I realized I was not hunting for meat. So I was hunting because I like to kill.
Yeah. Have you talked to anyone about this stuff? But I know.
I don't have to.
I found it. I found it interesting that in traveling here to be on the show, you brought with you on the airplane a rifle. Is that correct? Was it a rifle? I never
showed to you, but they wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah. But I found it interesting that you could travel with a weapon on an airplane.
Okay, but I told you repeatedly, if you're innocent, you can do anything. Yeah. But I told you repeatedly, if you're innocent, you can do anything.
What was that?
It's so strange.
Yeah, he's a strange guy. And Johnny Depp played him to the T. In that film. Well, that skeleton key.
So yeah, it's the same skeleton key that Echols has on it.
Yep. We got a lot of matching tattoos, I guess. I didn't know that. I thought it was just the one with the bars.
It's one of those things. He didn't just support us while we were in prison. He's been with us every single step of the way since we got out. He's become like a brother to me.
Wow.
And that's one of the things we always do, just as part of that bond is whenever you get tattoos like that, it's something that both of you carry with you for the rest of your life. And it's really meaningful.
Yeah, we're in a brotherhood.
Wind over heaven, the 9th hexagram with the I Ching. Yeah.
Wow. There's several. Crazy. Yep. A couple of weirdos.
Yeah, let me see.
This was the last one we got. We got Johnny Depp. And lots of new tattoos, some of which he designed. The lines in the middle would be mine and Johnny's names spelled out in Hebrew.
It's a sigil.
It says brother. And then around this, it just says brother.
That's a sigil, isn't it? Put together?
Yes. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So they would have created that themselves.
Yeah, that's Peter Jackson with that same tattoo design.
Oh, God, that one looks like a brand. Crowley brand.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. This, I think, is where it was at the Golden Gods that I mentioned. Oh.
And yeah, I mean, for people that don't know, that's magic right there. Making a sigil and then imprinting it on yourself. That's magic.
Well, I'm very much into philosophy. A lot of different philosophers that I've read over the years, like Nietzsche, Darwin, Freud, Aleister Crowley, and finally Anton LaVey. And fortunately, he's still alive, so I got to meet with him and talk about his ideas and things like that. And in America, Satanism is sensationalized and kind of misunderstood, and people associate it with worshiping the devil and things like that. But it's really a philosophy about individuality and self-preservation. It's about being your own God.
There you go.
It's interesting that being so old and how popular that idea has become with the New Age movement, right?
Dude, it populates a lot of the occult. Oh, this is the Golden Gods Award, so that's Depp and Echols, I think. Hugging
Manson.
Or maybe
that's Manson.
It's Manson. That's right.
Yep. And that's Johnny Depp and but just a brotherhood of Satanists.
It's like Rosemary's Baby. It's all of them witches, man.
Yeah, Rosemary's Baby.
And this is another one. Like it was Dave Navarro who I couldn't remember because Eccles went on some kind of thing with Dave Navarro. And let me see if I can find this. So I had to. I don't even know it. Some of these videos are not online.
Dave Navarro, that's the guitar player, right?
That's the guitar player I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can. So
probably another Satanist as well.
I have to compile these and put them all back online.
I don't know.
My old Occult Investigations is gone.
Yeah.
Got burned. I don't know what happened. Maybe this is when I blew the.
So you wrote this book the same year that you wrote your first book?
Say that again.
You wrote this book the same year that you wrote your first book?
No, my first one I published, self-published. I printed it out on my printer in 2010. That was Prophet of Evil.
That's right.
Abomination was published 2012, and then I published Children of the Beast, I think 2014. So it's kind of
Children of the Beast. Does that one tie into Hollywood, or just like basically?
A lot of different stuff. I mean, Hollywood type people around Hollywood, Leary, definitely David Bowie was in Hollywood.
You got a lot of faces on the cover of that book there. That one looks interesting.
Yeah, and I have Anger too, and L. Ron Hubbard, who had the Celebrity Center, and so many people were influenced by Scientology. Scientology was definitely influenced by Crowley, not arguable.
And Scientology in Hollywood. I remember when I was living in Burbank and working out there, and went to a skate shop one day in West Hollywood, and I didn't actually realize that I was in front of the Scientology building, and looked up at these huge steps and this guy coming down, and that was before I ever knew what it was. And man, there were so many people. It was It's nuts how influential. And it might be surprised to know that in 2016, all of LA that didn't vote for Donald Trump, well, actually, that little neighborhood of Scientologists did vote for Donald Trump. Just an interesting thing to note there. And LA Times published that back in 2016, how all the Scientologists voted for Trump while the rest of Hollywood was against him, allegedly.
Interesting. I don't know that. So this is like another musician.
Oh yeah, he's I forget who he is. Yeah.
So this was at UCLA's Freud Payhouse, December 29th, 2012. It's kind of like they just did this Life After Death book tour, and Echols just
poverty-stricken, white trash Southern family.
They had all talking points and stuff like that. It was something else. Oh man, they really tried to whitewash this guy. There's no question.
Whenever all the DNA evidence started coming back in the case, they're able to do DNA testing now that they were able to do it in 1993 when I was arrested. The science has progressed quite a bit. So they started doing all this DNA testing, and it showed that none of the DNA of the crime scene matched me or the other two guys that is in prison. Instead, it matched one of the stepfathers, and the man who had been providing the stepfather with an alibi. Also, one of the victims' stepfathers had always said the same one with the DNA match had always said he never saw the victims that day. 3 eyewitnesses came forward and said they saw him with all 3 of the victims within an hour of the time they were murdered. These things.
That case is so deceiving. It's such a deceptive.
Super deceptive.
I mean, I haven't dived into it like you have, obviously, but just from
well, it was very much so that I wanted to really try to figure it out because it was such a riddle, you know?
Yeah.
There's so many different things going on. Navarro is a strange cat, dude. He's I would say that's pretty weird.
Yeah, I mean, and look at again the tattoos and
he likes to like fly around on these hooks around his thing. Here's the tattoos again. So this is Crowley's unicursal hexagram is right on there. So if you see that,
yeah, on his elbow.
Right. Yep. So that's on his elbow.
It literally looks like the Thelema symbol on Wikipedia.
So that was just one. I mean, let me get back. So that's it.
Yeah, look at him. And it's like all these, famous Satanists just came, like you said, to whitewash him. The way he was sitting in that interview is like, let's convince these people you're innocent.
Yeah. And now they're not asking tough questions. They're not asking, were you ever involved in the occult?
Oh, is that Navarro again? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a weirdo.
Signing.
Yeah. It's on some Lady Gaga weird ritual stuff.
And Life After Death was a huge bestseller. I mean, people ate that up.
That's Echols' book?
Yeah, that's Echols' book.
Life After Death, yeah.
And then here's the kind of, you can just see this kind of binary duality the Satanists have. So this is the anti-Christian shirt. This will tear us apart. So it's a play on, what is the name? Joy Division, the Joy Division song, but it's the Christian cross, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't take. Oh, I mean, it just gets this. I mean, people send me stuff too. Like once people know that I'm interested, I get all these pictures. People go, "Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this stuff?"
Oh wow!
All kinds of stuff on his back.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that. I mean, I always assumed heavy metal and all that's all into the occult, but I didn't know he was all into that. Gosh.
Yeah, no, he was into hanging. So he likes to go to. This guy is strange. He likes to go to famous places and get hanged in a trestle because he feels like he's a spirit.
Yeah.
Flying around. So it's a kind of a spiritual thing.
That's some David Blaine. That's like some David Blaine shit, I remember the interview where David Blaine, when I first realized that he was into the occult, I used to be a fan of David Blaine. I remember being interviewed and saying, how do you do that? And he was like, well, I got protection. And the guy's like, well, what's your protection? Who's your protection? And he showed him his hand, and he had like a pentagram tattooed on his hand, not permanent, but it was like drawn on there. And he's like right there, and he just showed it for a second. I was like, oh my gosh. And he does this kind of, hanging and holding his breath. I don't know what this is. But it reminds me of Crowley, because when I read your book, I never realized how much Crowley, he really was a mountaineer.
No doubt.
That's crazy stuff that they would do these things too. And I know that's probably magic as well, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, would you say that? Would you say this hanging is some form of magic ritual?
I think it might be. I mean, if you're like have a magical worldview, then almost everything you do is kind of magical. So this is just one more.
It certainly don't make no damn sense. Yourself from your skin.
And that's his. This is like his symbol of like what he is. He's a hanger. That's what he does.
Okay for life.
I mean, this is crazy. This is like the body modification type stuff. This is his knees, dude. This is Navarro's knees. Got the pentagram and
wow,
shoved things through his freaking kneecap. It looks like, right?
Wow. Yeah, this is on another level. I had no idea. That's gross. And so he's so wow. Yeah. It makes you really wonder, like, does Navarro and Depp and Echols meet up in some freaking lodge and do some weird freaking rituals? Like, it's crazy.
I don't know
what's really going on in Hollywood.
I mean, it's very strange.
Yeah, that's nuts right there.
Yeah, so I don't know what else I can add to that, but
no, I think we can leave it at the pierced kneecap, man. That's pretty profound. I've never seen anything like
it's just uneasy to kind of talk about all this stuff too. So
yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
I appreciate it all. And again, for everyone, your book again, it's Abomination.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, or my website's William Ramsey Investigates. So I'll put that in the show notes if people want to read it.
Yeah. Let's go.
I need to update it. There's a lot on there that.
But you can go right on there, click on the store on your website. People can go on there and click on the store, and your books pop right up. Yes. That way, they're not supporting Jeff Bezos, and we can actually support, independent authors out here. Yeah. So Abomination, Devil Worship, and Deception in the West Memphis 3 Murders. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I hope everyone goes and checks it out, and don't even waste your time watching the documentaries, because
it's not the full story. It's half of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Go read the doc. I mean, people have complained like, hey, his book is just a reciting of the court documents in a timeline fashion. I'm like, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So you can see what the investigators and everything was putting together. It wasn't a fake investigation, and it went through the standard kind of criminal procedure process, gathering evidence, putting it together, prosecuting somebody, and putting it in front of a jury.
Wow. So I guess the moral of the story is don't sit here and waste your time watching Johnny Depp and caring about his life. He doesn't care about yours.
What did he call? Somebody said he called him a femora or some more. Did you hear that whole statement?
No, I didn't.
It was something like, it's this kind of fish that sucks onto the bottom of a boat and then puts a hole in it and sinks the boat. That's what Depp called his fans. Like something really bad.
God.
Like, not good at all. I wish I could find that.
Okay.
Some more or from more or something like that.
Wow.
Anyway, that went right with my research. Chris, great to be with you. Thanks.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, William. Yeah. Sure. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, stay there.
All right. Bye, brother.
All right, cool.